Michael Dunn. In a world obsessed with perfect height and symmetry, Michael Dunn defied expectations. Born in Shadick, Oklahoma, on October 20th, 1934, standing at just 3 feet 10 inches due to a rare skeletal disorder, Dunn's physical limitations became the backdrop for his growing talent. By the 1960s, he was no longer a novelty, he was a force. His breakout role as Glocken in Ship of Fools earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor, a rare feat, especially for someone with a visible disability. This win wasn't just about representation, it challenged Hollywood's polished facade. Still, Dunn was often typecast in stereotypical roles, eccentric villains, comic relief, or tragic figures. Then came Dr. Miguelito's Loveless in The Wild Wild West, 1965 to 1968. His portrayal of the brilliant, vengeful antagonist made him a cult icon, proving that intellect, not just image, could steal the show. Off-screen, Dunn challenged Hollywood's narrow view, famously saying, "I am a human being first, an actor second, and a dwarf third." But the toll of his demanding career caught up with him. On August 30th, 1973, Dunn died at 38, likely from complications related to his condition. His relentless career only worsened his health, tragically ironic for someone who had spent his life proving he could keep up with the best. Dick York. In 1959, a single mistake on set altered Dick York's career, and some say sitcom history. While filming That Came to Cordura, he suffered a severe spinal injury. The scene required lifting a railroad handcar, but something went wrong, damaging muscles and vertebrae in his back. This triggered chronic pain that would last for the rest of his life. By the time York was cast as Darren Stevens on Bewitched in 1964, the pain was constant. For 5 seasons, he filmed while battling severe physical limitations. Many scenes were shot with him seated or leaning, and scripts were reportedly rewritten to accommodate his condition. York admitted to relying on prescription medication to function, often needing to be propped up to deliver lines. The strain eventually took its toll. In 1969, he collapsed during filming and was hospitalized. His health never fully recovered, and he was replaced by Dick Sargent, sparking one of TV's most talked about casting changes. At the time, the public was told only that York had health issues, but years later, he revealed the full extent of his condition and struggles with substance dependency. In his later years, York became an advocate for compassion, founding Acting for Life, a nonprofit helping those in need. John Carradine. By the late 1960s, John Carradine's gaunt frame and booming baritone had made him a staple in horror and drama. But behind the scenes, his body was betraying him. Severe arthritis, which worsened over time, twisted his hands and stiffened his movements, turning even simple tasks into painful struggles. While the condition wasn't always visible early on, by the time he was starring in low-budget thrillers and Shakespearean revivals, the signs were impossible to ignore. Some filmmakers reportedly used his altered posture and rigid gait to enhance his eerie presence on screen. Whether intentional or not, his unique physicality became part of his mystique. Carradine, known for his work obsession, powered through intense discomfort, often needing assistance between takes. He rarely complained, believing that an actor must perform no matter the cost. Despite his physical struggles, Carradine continued to work relentlessly, turning down offers to slow down or retire. With over 350 film credits, his output was staggering. His sons, David, Keith, and Robert, have credited his unwavering dedication as the model for their own careers. For years, his physical struggles were hidden behind his prolific resume and iconic roles. It wasn't until later biographies revealed the full extent of his hardship, a man who not only acted through adversity, but built a lasting legacy on top of it. Rondo Hatton. Rondo Hatton never fit the typical Hollywood mold, and that's what made him unforgettable. In the early 1930s, he was a sports writer in Florida, but his life changed when acromegaly, a rare disorder caused by a pituitary tumor, began altering his face and body. His features, jaw, brow, and hands grew larger, reshaping both his appearance and career. While most saw his condition as a flaw, Universal Studios saw potential. They cast him in horror films, not to hide his differences, but to embrace them. Movies like House of Horrors and The Brute Man were built around his striking appearance. Some critics debated whether the roles were exploitative, but film historian Tom Weaver described his performances as quietly tragic, revealing depth behind his villainous roles. Off-screen, Hatton faced mistreatment, with studios offering little more than a paycheck as he endured gawking crowds and sensational headlines. Yet, he gained a loyal following in the horror community, not for his condition, but for the eerie calm he brought to every scene. Rondo passed away at 51 from a heart attack, likely linked to his acromegaly. His legacy endures through the Rondo Hatton Classic Horror Awards, honoring a man whose appearance symbolized Hollywood's complicated relationship with physical differences. James Arness. Few knew that James Arness, the towering 6'7" star of Gunsmoke, carried a hidden war wound throughout his career. In early 1944, while serving with the U.S. Army's 3rd Infantry Division in Italy, Arness was shot in the right leg during the brutal Anzio campaign. The injury was so severe that amputation was considered. He spent over a year in military hospitals, and the damage left him with a permanent limp and chronic pain that followed him to Hollywood. When Gunsmoke premiered in 1955, producers masked his limp with careful camera angles and blocking. Arness downplayed the issue, saying, "I felt the character had to stand on his own." His famously stoic screen presence was likely shaped by both his training and the lasting effects of his injury. Behind the scenes, the physical toll of filming was evident, but Arness rarely complained. His quiet endurance became legendary, especially among veterans. His brother, actor Peter Graves, believed that Arness's wartime experience gave him an unshakable grit that added depth to his portrayal of Marshal Dillon, a weight no script could write. Marty Feldman. In an industry obsessed with perfection, Marty Feldman was a walking paradox and a breakout star. His bulging, misaligned eyes weren't a character choice. They were caused by Graves' disease, a rare condition that causes protruding eyes. Diagnosed in his late teens, Feldman's distinctive look often sidelined him, but instead of hiding it, he embraced it. By the time he played Igor in Young Frankenstein, 1974, he turned what many saw as a flaw into a signature strength. With his shifting hump, exaggerated posture, and unforgettable eyes, he didn't just play the role, he stole every scene. Critics praised his comedic timing, but it was his appearance that made him unforgettable. Fans coined the phrase, "He made weird beautiful," celebrating his ability to turn a medical condition into comic genius. Behind the scenes, Feldman challenged Hollywood's obsession with perfection, choosing roles that mocked conventional beauty standards. His untimely death on December 2, 1982, during filming in Mexico City, shocked the world. Though official reports cite a heart attack, some point to years of heavy smoking and stress. At just 48, his career was cut short, but his legacy remains a reminder that, in an industry built on perfection, it's often the imperfections that leave the deepest impact. Peter Falk. Peter Falk's signature squint wasn't just a character choice. It was the result of losing his right eye to retinoblastoma, a rare cancer, at age 3. The surgery left him with a glass eye, which became an unexpected asset in an industry obsessed with perfection. Early on, casting agents doubted audiences would accept an actor with such a visible difference, but Falk embraced it. When he took on the role of Lieutenant Columbo in the 1968 TV movie Prescription Murder, his asymmetry became part of the detective's charm. Columbo's tilted head, wandering gaze, and slow-paced interrogations weren't just quirks. They were shaped by Falk's physical limitations. It's speculated that his need to manage depth perception influenced the character's deliberate style. Falk often joked about his glass eye, once quipping, "I've got one eye, but I can see through you." Directors adjusted camera angles for his vision, but his presence and timing ruled the screen. Despite initial skepticism, Falk's portrayal of Columbo redefined what a leading man could look like. The idea of a Columbo reboot has circulated for years, but no one has matched Falk's iconic role. One glass eye, countless unforgettable moments, and a legacy that remains unmatched. Annette Funicello. In 1987, Annette Funicello, one of Disney's original Musketeers and a star of 60s beach films, was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, a debilitating condition that gradually robs muscle control. For 5 years, she kept it a secret, fearing that the public would see her illness as a career-ending flaw in Hollywood's image-obsessed world. In 1992, she went public with her diagnosis, telling People magazine, "I didn't go public because I didn't want pity." Her revelation changed not only her image, but also how illness was viewed in entertainment. Annette began appearing in a wheelchair, not as a symbol of tragedy, but of resilience. Her honesty sparked a wave of support, raised funds for MS research, and encouraged others in the industry to share their own health struggles. Through the Annette Funicello Research Fund, she became a vocal advocate, shifting the conversation about chronic illness into the spotlight. Her initial silence reflected a deep-rooted fear in Hollywood that visible disabilities, even well-managed ones, could still be seen as a professional risk. Annette passed away in April 2013, but her legacy in reshaping disability visibility in entertainment remains a lasting force. Ricardo Montalban. Ricardo Montalban, famous for his roles as Khan in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan and Mr. Rourke on Fantasy Island, spent much of his career concealing a severe spinal injury. In 1951, while filming across the wide Missouri, a horse fell on him, crushing his lower back and leaving him with chronic pain and partial paralysis. For over 5 decades, he endured this quietly, rarely discussing it. Despite his injury, Montalban insisted on performing demanding roles himself. In Star Trek II, rumors of a body double surfaced, but Montalban confirmed every scene was his, despite the pain. Off-screen, his struggles inspired him to advocate for disabled performers. In the 1990s, he founded the Ricardo Montalban Foundation, and in 2004, the historic Doolittle Theater in Los Angeles was renamed the Montalban Theater in his honor. Montalban's legacy is one of perseverance and resilience. His refusal to let physical adversity define him reshaped Hollywood's approach to disability and representation. He passed away in 2009 at age 88, leaving a lasting impact on the industry. Howard McNair. In 1963, Howard McNair, best known for playing Floyd the Barber on The Andy Griffith Show, suffered a stroke that left the left side of his body severely impaired. Most actors facing such challenges would have been written off, but McNair was brought back. Instead of recasting, producers adjusted scripts and staging. They tailored scenes so McNair could sit or lean, often hiding behind props like counters or desks. His speech was slower, and his gestures more restrained, but his comedic timing remained sharp. The show never drew attention to his condition, but it didn't ignore it either. Subtle camera angles minimized his limitations, yet his presence on screen was undeniably changed. Industry insiders say Andy Griffith himself insisted on keeping McNair involved, even rearranging filming schedules to accommodate him. Whether out of loyalty or respect, the cast and crew rallied behind him. At a time when visible disabilities were rarely seen on TV, McNair's continued role was groundbreaking. Though his health further declined by 1967, leading to his retirement, his brief return left a lasting impact on how disability was portrayed in mainstream entertainment. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss our new videos each week. Thanks for watching!